Welcome, everybody. Today we're going to talk about the latest in finance. The Fear and Greed Index has been showing a fear indication for the last couple days, which is just the market sentiment, and it hasn't had a 2-day run in a long time. We'll see if tomorrow's the third day. It seems like things are looking or heading towards disaster with the stock market. To be frank, that's just my opinion. From Japan and foreign markets to the S&P 500 and a lot of companies in the United States, it's been rough the last couple days. So I wanted to do a quick little update on the latest financial news. Make sure you hit that like and the subscribe and the notifications if you want to catch live streams and videos like this in the future. Thank you all. Let's talk about this. This is Reid Hoffman. His latest prediction. Neil Taparia made a post about it. He is a entrepreneur, and he said that Reid Hoffman said that by 2034, the 9-to-5 job will be extinct. Yeah, that's just within 10 years. In 10 years, the 9-to-5 will be extinct. Life will be different, and that's because of AI. That's because of robotics, etc. Reid Hoffman's known for predicting the rise of social media in 1997. So, Neil highlights the spooky nature of some of Hoffman's past predictions. From social networks, which Hoffman sold LinkedIn for $26 billion. The sharing economy, companies like Airbnb, which he was an early investor into. And he called the AI revolution years before ChatGPT. Of course, now we see a lot of other AI that is developing very, very quickly. Very quickly. So, Elon Musk talked about this a bit, and Elon Musk said that we're not going to have universal basic income, UBI, but instead he imagines that we'll have a universal high income, which is a higher income that could sustain us, and that we won't have a 9-to-5 job. We'll have whatever it looks like, I guess some other thing, but he said that we'll have everything we need. We'll have all services. We'll have all the products we need. Largely, it'll be taken care of in other ways than we do it today. An interesting dystopian future to imagine, but considering AI, etc., maybe that's where we're going. We have a lot of smart people out there saying it, so it really does seem that way. Onward, let's take a look at some charts and whatnot from today. Investing.com gave us a breakdown. S&P 500 falls 2.3% in the biggest decline since December 2022. NASDAQ 100 plunged 3.6% in the worst day since October 2022. And Tesla shares slumped 12% in the biggest drop since September 2020. And of course, the classic meme here. GIF of the dude holding on for dear life as the charts crash. So, like I said, not good indications. Here is a post by Barchart. Follow them at Barchart on X. They said the odds that the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates 50 basis points by September are soaring. There's a note at the bottom of this chart. It says probability of Fed's key rate falling to a range of 4.75% to 5% or below, derived from federal funds futures contracts. The source is the CME Group. So interesting that the Fed's coming back in. We'll see what happens, but this is kind of some of the narrative out there. Professor Stange posted this. And if you're not following Professor Stange, do that, because he puts these out daily and they're just fantastic. And he talks about Canada today. He writes this, quote, Canada is headed for its worst decline in 40 years as economy fails to recover from the pandemic. Under Trudeau, incomes are West Virginia level, house prices in Los Angeles level, and a middle-class family might pay half their income in taxes. 7 in 10 Canadians now think that Canada is broken, pardon me, rising to 8 in 10 of the young. Almost half of Canadians are considering moving to another country. Rarely has a country fallen so far, so fast. And that's what Professor Stange wrote. And of course, he has a full video from today you can watch, and he'll be publishing one in just a few hours, very likely. He posts one every day almost. So catch that. He's a great follow, and he breaks things down very simply for people like me who aren't financial experts, right? So, of course, this isn't any type of financial advice or anything. It's just a little bit of crumbs and a little bit of the stories and facts from finance today or as of late. Onward here, we have another chart from Bar Chart. They said small cap stocks have finally broken through a 3.5-year trend line against the S&P 500, which is an interesting thing. We've seen a trend that was different for a long time. Here you can see them breaking past this trend line here with a couple green days. This is, I guess, good. I don't know, man. If anybody has an analysis of this, maybe it's bad because the large stocks are doing so poorly. We've talked about that gap growing between the large stocks and the small stocks, where the large get larger and the small get smaller. So maybe this is a little bit of an indication of some kind of correction of that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, please. Here's another one. Corporate insiders are dumping shares at the fastest pace in at least a decade. And this chart here is from insidersentiment.com. They show the lowest level in at least a decade on the very right, and the 10-year average indicated by the red line in the middle that's going horizontal there. And yes, we've heard story after story of insiders trading their companies and just dumping and dumping and dumping, right? And we cover those from time to time. So this is indicating that it's showing. So this chart is just from the last week or so, but still, it's an important piece of data. Onward, let's see this next story. More charts. This is just very recently. This was 9:19 p.m. Pacific time. China's 10-year bond yield falls to an all-time low. And this is a chart from Bloomberg. This is from September until now, September 2022 until now. And let's take a quick look at Japan. Let's take a quick look at Japan here. They, if we can, they've dropped. They are not doing so hot either. This is a chart since May 2024, from here to here, May 2024, and they've just had red. Right now, they're indicating, this is the Nikkei 225 index, Japan. It's indicating a correction here, we'll see, but look at all that red. A lot of murmurs on what is happening in Japan, but people worry about this because of their how they are positioned in the global market. And people say that they could be the first domino in a big financial crisis. So, man, we have a lot going on. We're just gonna have to keep our eye on it. Of course, we have these situations with people buying houses and whatnot in the U.S. and other places where it's just people are unable to. The amount you have to make, raises aren't keeping up with the amount you need in order to purchase a house, and it's just outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous. And of course we have inflation, etc., etc., etc. Hopefully we can see improvements in the near future on this stuff, but we'll keep our eyes on it as things continue to develop. I want to highlight these key takeaways as well from Investopedia on the Federal Reserve. They said, quote, "The Federal Reserve is widely expected to cut its benchmark interest rates by September, though the central bank hasn't committed to a timeline to rate cuts." So we're going to be hearing more about this in the very near future. They also said this, quote, "A handful of experts argue that the Fed won't, or at least should not, cut rates before the end of the year and should instead keep rates high until inflation is fully subdued." Which I don't know how that's going to work, right? Let me know what you guys think. I don't know how that's going to work. It's just delaying the inevitable. Thirdly, they said, quote, "Progress against inflation has been slow since mid-2023, prompting one economist to warn that an early rate cut could backfire and cause inflation to reignite." I don't think there's any clean way out of this, folks. I also want to highlight this article by CNBC. Berkshire Hathaway has dumped $2.3 billion of Bank of America shares in a 6-day sale. This was a big story from today. So thank you all for joining me. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe, leave some comments. Let me know if I missed any stories that you want to hear about. We'll talk about finance, politics, other breaking news, more. So please follow along and we'll do that. Thank you all. Take care. God bless and God speed.